Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of DailyAlchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi, this is Michelle Martin Dobbins from DailyAlchemy.com, and today I want to talk to you about letting go of fear around money. Many of us have this. Many of us have experienced worrying at night about paying a bill or being afraid of what would happen if we lost our job or we didn't have enough money to pay our mortgage. And I'm here to tell you, I understand. I've been there and occasionally I still go there, but worrying, as we know, is just wasted energy. So what can we do instead? Okay, because I know telling you to stop worrying, that's great, how do I do that, right? Well, I'm going to tell you what to do instead. Because your brain, as much as we like to think we can multitask, it can really only focus on one thought at a time. So, first, I'm going to give you 3 tips. And the first one is, remember that if the worst happens, you're still going to be okay. Most of you are probably listening from a country where you're not going to be executed for not paying your bills, and, you're not going to go to prison for not paying your bills. If you lose your house, you can start over. If you lose your job, you may get a better job. The funny thing is that sometimes when these horrible things happen and it feels like everything falls apart, it's like so something new and wonderful can come into your life. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. But if you let go of worrying about that thing, and if that thing happened, everything would just be horrible and never be good again. When you say, okay, if that happens, I can deal with it, then funnily enough, things kind of usually start to get better. And, and if that one thing does happen, I've seen it so many times in one certain situation where a person loses a job and it was really a job that they didn't love and it wasn't ideal. And then they ended up getting one that was so much better. So if you lose your job, celebrate. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it definitely means that there's something better out there for you. Okay, so that's number 1. Remember that if the worst happens, you'll still be okay. And I know you're like, that may have not done it totally for me. If you can really get that, it helps. But let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is give away some money or something else to someone else. And you're like, hello, I'm worried that I don't have enough money and I want to give some away. Let me tell you, this creates a big shift. There's a little book called Happy Money, and I apologize, I can't remember the author's name, but I will look it up and I will put a link in the show notes. Happy Money, she goes every month and she takes 5 $1 bills and she hides them and gives them away. And in doing that, she felt her money vibration rise and more money come back to her. And it's really fun little game to play. You can stick a little sticky note on it and say, this is your happy money, a gift from the universe for the person who finds the money. And most of us can give out $5 and it's not going to make a big negative impact. If you don't have any money to give, and I know sometimes you just don't, that's fine. Maybe you have some flowers growing in your yard. You can make, or some wildflowers growing alongside the road. Make a bouquet of flowers for somebody. Or if you have the ingredients to cook something for somebody. Or if you have something that's just sitting around your house, you got that old cassette player or whatever that somebody else might think is really fun, but you're never going to use. You can put it on Freecycle. You can give it to charity. But do something that shifts you away from that feeling of not having enough to having that feeling that you have enough and you have enough that you can give and share with others. That's going to open you up to not worrying so much about money and to allowing more money in your life. Okay, so 1, remember if the worst happens, you'll be okay. 2, give some money or something else away. And number 3, this is a biggie. This is what has kind of gotten me through when I've been stressed about money. It's a technique and it seems counterintuitive, but first you have to sit down and feel that fear, okay? It's not fun. It doesn't feel good. And we like to run and hide from feelings that don't feel good. I totally understand. But first you're going to feel the fear and then you're going to shift to a new thought. So you may take 10 or 15 minutes. And if you're running some fear about something that is like really in the front of your mind, like right now, like you have a bill due or something. I know for me, I've had times, my husband and I run a business where the cash flow wasn't there. Like we had a lot of money owed to us that wasn't being paid to us, and we had bills that were due. And I was like, this needs to be paid today, but I don't have the check from such and such. And so for me, that was, cash flow. And it was interesting that I heard from Abraham Hicks, the affirmation, I really love the cash flow, when she was talking to somebody about their business. So I took that one because I was like, I really love the cash flow. I love the fact that we get in our bill, our accounts receivable so we can pay our accounts payable. If you're in business, that will make sense. But if not, maybe. So whatever your fear is, whenever it comes up and you feel that, sit down for a few minutes. If you're at work, go to the bathroom, find a quiet spot, sit for a few minutes and just kind of dive into that feeling of fear. Feel it in your body. Feel it as a sensation. Feel it, is it like a tightening in your throat? Is there a lump there? Is there a pain in the pit of your stomach? Do you feel, pain in your knees? What does the energy of your body feel like? Okay. What I want you to do is to feel that feeling and that sensation, and as much as possible, focus on the physical sensation and not the story that you're running in your head, not the scary story. Okay. Do that for a few minutes until you feel a shift, even if it's just a little shift and there's still some fear. And then what I want you to do is pick up your new thought that you've decided to think in place of it. And everybody, different people. For me, in the situation I was in, it was, I really love the cash flow. There's a favorite of mine from Catherine Ponder, which is, there is gold dust in the air for me. That's always a good one because it's kind of like, what's coming? Something good. Or, like if you're really stressed, this too shall pass. Because, most of us have been stressed about money, and whatever it was, we dealt with it and it went away. And the same thing will happen in this circumstance that you're in. So, whatever thought is going to work for you, pick that thought and say it as much as you can as you go through the rest of your day. And if you find yourself starting to run that story in your head, just remind yourself, no, that's the old story. The new story is, there's gold dust in the air for me. And then just start repeating it inside your mind. If you're by yourself, you can say it out loud if you want, if that helps you focus. But your mind can't think, I'm worried about my bill and there's gold dust in the air for me at the same time. So pick the good thought. And then, if the fear feeling comes back, go through this process again. And sometimes if you're dealing with something, you may have to use this process for a couple of days until you shift and the situation shifts and everything gets better. But it does get better. It always gets better. And so spend as much of your time as you can thinking thoughts that serve you, thoughts that make you feel good. Because worry does not bring in money. If it did, there'd be a lot of people with a lot of money that don't have any money. Okay, so the 3 tips. If the worst happens, you're going to be okay. Give something away, preferably money, but not necessarily. And 3, feel the fear and shift to a new thought. Okay? And if you have any questions about that, or if you're working with it and something comes up, feel free to shoot me an email. You can go to dailyalchemy.com, click on the little envelope in like the right-hand side, I believe, of your screen, and it will direct you to my email. Or you can also go to Facebook or Twitter, and you can go to Daily Alchemy too and find the Facebook and Twitter links and tweet me or send me a message on Facebook. And let me know how this works for you, or if you have problems and you need some more help around fear, I would be glad to help. Also, if you have ideas for other episodes that you would like to hear about, I would love to know that too. And if I could ask you a little favor, if you have a little bit of time, it would mean so much to me if you would take the time to go on Stitcher or iTunes, wherever you're listening, and leave me a rating and review and let me know how I'm doing. I love doing this. I am still in the learning process, I feel like, although I'm up to like over 50 episodes now. What? It's crazy, but I would just love to know how I could serve you better. So I would appreciate it if you have time to do that. And for today, it's a wrap. Namaste, Magic Lifers. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.